a man saw an old lady stranded on the side of the road, who clearly needed help. With his old car squeaking and whining loudly, a man pulled up in front of her Mercedes to help out. The old lady was understandably afraid as the stranger approached her car. Would he hurt her? Even with the warm smile on the man's face, she thought he looked poor and hungry. He could tell she was scared, standing out in the cold. So he called out, "I'm here to help you, ma'am. Why don't you wait in the car where it's warm? By the way, my name is Brian Anderson." It was a flat tire, but for an old lady, that was bad enough. Brian crawled under the car, scraping himself a few times, but was able to replace the tire easily enough. As he was finishing up, the old lady rolled down her window and started talking to him. She was from St. Louis and was passing through. She couldn't thank him enough for helping her. Thinking about all the terrible potential outcomes, she asked how much she owed him. Any amount would have been fine. Brian just smiled and closed her trunk. He never considered payment at all. Many people showed him generosity and kindness in the past. He lived his whole life this way and never thought otherwise. Brian said, "If you really want to pay me back, next time you're able to help someone, do so, and think of me." He waited until she started her car and drove off. That day was cold and depressing, but he felt warmth as he drove home into the night. A few miles down the road, the old lady stopped at a small rundown cafe to eat and take a break before the last part of her trip. The waitress walked over, and the old lady noticed her sweet smile, one that even being on her feet all day didn't erase. She also saw the waitress was pregnant, though the certain exhaustion didn't dampen her attitude. The old lady wondered how someone could be so resilient and kind. She remembered Brian. The old lady finished her meal and paid with a $100 bill. Before the waitress could hurry back with change, the lady disappeared. The waitress noticed writing on the napkin. Tears came to her eyes as she read the note, reading, "Here is a gift. I've been there too, and someone showed me kindness then. I only ask that you do not let this chain of love end with you." Under the napkin were 4 more $100 bills. The waitress was able to make it through another night because of this act of kindness. When she got home that night and climbed into bed, she wondered if the old lady knew just how desperately in need she and her husband were. The baby was due next month, and they were hanging by a thread. Her husband was asleep next to her. She knew how worried he was. Lightly, she gave him a kiss and whispered softly, "Everything's going to be alright. I love you, Brian Anderson."